Alright guys, today we're going to be going over a Jett guide. This is going to apply for every map because I love you guys and I want you guys to succeed on Jett. So we're going to be going over just a general Jett guide. Doesn't go over any like map specific things. We're just going to be talking about how to play Jett in general, both on attack and defense to maximize your impact on Jett. If you guys want Jett specific guides, I do have guides on Jett specifically on every map, Lotus, Sunset, whatever. If you want specific entry paths, go look at those videos. So yeah, let's dive straight into this shit, man. First, let's start with attack, bro. Okay, so, or actually no, first let's start with even just like getting to know Jett's kit for like the absolute beginners. If you're not a beginner, you can skip this part. But honestly, even if you're like intermediate, you still might learn something about Jett's kit that you didn't know before. So obviously you have your Cloud Burst, which is your C ability by default. This literally just throws a cloud burst on the ground, like a little smoke. You can see there. It's literally all it does. It smokes the ground, doesn't last very long. It used to last longer, but then they nerfed the shit out of my boy Jett. So yeah, now it doesn't last very long. And you can curve this smoke midair if you didn't know that. So if you hold down your Cloudburst key, by default it's C. If you hold that shit down and you move your mouse around, you can curve the smoke. Look at that. I'm just curving it. I'm moving the smoke. So it just goes in the general direction of wherever you aim. As long as you're holding down the Cloudburst key, you can curve this shit. Look at that. Send that shit across the map. So yeah, you can curve the Cloudburst. A lot of people actually didn't know that. This is pretty useful if you're trying to smoke from around a corner. Let's say there's like a guy right here holding you with an op and you want to one-way him. You can curve the smoke just like that. Now you can have a little one-way that you can curve out on him, like, you know what I mean? Smoke it off without even having to peek the angle. So yeah, you don't actually have to like be looking somewhere to throw your Cloudburst. You can actually curve it around corners and shit. So that's the first thing. Next, we have the updraft. This helps you get to higher angles. Obviously, you can get to places where other agents can't reach. Literally just propels you up in the air. But one thing not a lot of people know is if you want to get extra height, right? Check this out. So if I just updraft normally, just pressing Q, which is the default key. Actually, I don't know how I'm going to measure this out, but so I get to around, I don't know, maybe I'll just ping.
Here.
Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. I get to right there on my ping. Remember that spot, okay? If you want to go higher on your updraft, all you have to do is jump at the exact same time as you're updrafting. Not before, not after. You want to updraft at the exact same time as you jump. So, watch this shit. You jump, updraft at the exact same time.
Here.
Boom. You get a little bit extra height. Last time we ended like down here. With the jump updraft, you get additional height. So remember that. If you jump and updraft at the same time, you go a little bit higher. Alright, moving on to the signature ability. You get this shit for free every single round and you get it reset after 2 kills. So if you kill 2 people, you get it back. So this is Jett's dash, main part of her kit. You pop it and then you have a window. You see this little bar, you see how it's ticking down? You have to use the dash in this window or else watch this. If I don't use my dash, that shit just goes away. So after you pop your dash, you have a little window where you have to use it or else it just disappears. So make sure you're popping your dash when it's appropriate and do not waste it because Jett's dash is very important. And we will go over why later on. One more thing with the dash. Same thing with the updraft. You can get extra distance on this bitch. Watch this. Ready? So, I'm gonna back up against this green box. I dash forward just normally. And we reach right here. Alright, remember this point. That's where I ended up. If you want to get extra distance on your dash, same thing. Jump and dash at the exact same time. Look at that. Look how much further we got.
Here.
I think we ended like around here. This time we ended here. So if you jump and dash, you get extra distance on that dash. And if you hold down your spacebar, you can glide for even further. You get a little bit more distance if you hold down your spacebar and glide. So that leads me into the next ability, which is Jett's passive, her glide. If you are in midair and you hold your spacebar, you will literally just start gliding in the air. Alright? So you can use this to get to different spots on the map, combined with your updraft. And you can use this to avoid taking fall damage as well. If you're dropping down from somewhere like Haven, and you don't want to take fall damage, Just hold down your spacebar at the very end and you will glide down and you won't take any fall damage. So yeah, that's how you glide. Just hold down your jump key, aka spacebar by default, and you will glide. Last but not least, we have Jett's ultimate, which is called Blaze Storm, but people just call it her knives. Jett knives. So once you activate your ult, you have these 5 knives right here. Left click to shoot it once. And as you can see, we have just consumed one of our knives. 5 knives in total. If you use all of your knives, they disappear forever. Let me actually turn infinite ammo off so I can show you. Okay, actually, I think it's infinite abilities. Yeah, there we go. You see that? So we clicked away all our knives, and now that shit is gone. You have no more knives. The only way you can get a knife refresh is by killing somebody. Knives do 50 damage to the body, and they are a one-shot headshot. So think of it kind of like a sheriff, except you can one-shot the head from any range. Very different from the right click. The right click on Jett's knives instantly consumed them all. Even if you kill somebody with your right click, you're not getting that shit back. Watch this. Boom. Gone forever. Even if you get a kill. The thing with the right click is that they're spread. It's sort of like a shotgun where you want to be closer to your enemy to increase the chances of it hitting. If I'm shooting my knives from all the way back here, you can see that the spread is super spread out and random, and the chances of 3 knives to the body. So if each knife does 50, I need 3 knives to hit, obviously, for 150 damage to kill somebody. So if somebody's full health and I'm standing all the way back here and they're against this wall and I'm doing a right click, the chances of my 3 knives hitting them or even like 1 hitting the head is very, very small. So you want to keep right clicks to close range. If you're close range on somebody and you can guarantee a right click, then that's a good time to right click. Right? Because look, the closer I am to this wall, the closer the knives are in terms of the spread. So higher chance of hitting. For medium to long range, you want to be left clicking people. Alright, another thing to mention about the knives. If you hold down left click, it will instantly like shoot your knives rapid fire. This is me holding down left click. You can see that it just shoots my knives out super fast. And if you click them individually, you can also click them individually for more precision. I recommend clicking your knives individually like this. You just have more control of your aim. And if you do need to rapid fire, you can click very fast as well. You don't have to hold down your left click. A common mistake I see a lot of people make with Jett knives, especially in lower elo, is that they will just hold down their left click and they will whiff everything. They will literally just blow their entire knives. They'll blow their load onto like a wall and then they won't have any knives left. So I like to individually click my knives. It gives me more accuracy and it just forces you to take your time to aim before you shoot, right? If you need to click fast, you can do that. You don't have to hold down your left click. Just individually clicking each knife gives you a little bit more time to aim at your enemy, a little bit more precision. But yeah, once you get comfortable with using knives, you can hold down your left click. It's really just preference. But if you're just starting out with knives, I recommend like individually clicking them. Okay, so that's all of Jett's abilities. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into how to actually play Jett. So since Jett is a duelist, your main job is obviously just going to be making space for your team. That's your job as Jett. Jett's probably one of the best space makers in terms of all the duelists in the game. Jett is probably up there when it comes to space making because her dash and her updraft and her cloud burst really let her make space for herself very easily. So when you're executing onto a site, you're going to want to use your dash and a cloud burst ideally. You're going to be dashing into your cloud burst. So you're going to throw a cloud burst down. And the general principle is you're just going to dash into this cloud burst. Like that. That's how you entry the site for your team. Very straightforward. We're not even going to talk about initiator utility. Like, sure, you should have a Sova dart coming in for you to help you. But like, let's not even talk about that. Let's just talk about basic entrying. You're going to throw a cloud burst down and dash into that. Now, one thing to cover is when you're dashing into your cloud burst, you don't want to be looking straight forward like I was right there. Why? Because we want to get information for our team as we dash out. That's the whole point of making space. While you're making space for your team, you need to be getting information for them. So what that means is when I'm dashing forward, I'm going to be looking left and looking right to clear all of these angles. So when I'm dashing forward into my cloud burst, I want to flick my mouse to the left and to the right. So without the cloud burst, let me just show you what this would look like. Like that. You're flicking your mouse left and right. So yeah, when you're looking left and right, you're able to clear these close angles for your team so that your team can come out without having to clear all of this, they can focus on holding heaven, gen, hell as they scale out. They can focus on holding other things rather than looking left and right because you have already cleared that for them while you're dashing. One thing that a lot of people do when they're not really used to clearing these close angles is they will be hard staring at their crosshair when they dash out, but you actually don't need to do that. You can literally just look at these angles for like half a second, and what you want to be focusing on is actually your mini map, because even if you spot somebody for like half a second, they will always show up on your mini map as long as you've seen them in your vision. Even for like 0.1 seconds, they will show up on the mini map. So when you're looking left and right, you don't actually have to be hard staring at your crosshair to like spot these enemies, because you just have to dash into your cloudburst, glance up at your minimap and see if there's any indicators on your minimap for enemies. And if there isn't, then you're good to go. So yeah, that's not even the best entry path, by the way, for Jett. On Ascent, you want to be going top gen, so you want to be actually doing this one. The top gen updraft is a lot stronger because you're able to clear back gen, dice, and hell. But like I said, we're not talking about entry paths in this video. If you want to know what the best optimized entry paths are for Jett, you can watch my other videos on that. But that's basically how to entry as Jett, very basically. Very simply put. You throw a cloudburst down, paired with hopefully some sort of initiator utility. You're dashing into your cloudburst, clearing left, clearing right as you dash out. That is how you make space on Jett. So that's basically Jett's main job on attacking side, is to be the spearhead space maker for the team. You're dashing in, getting info, making that space. Let's talk about weapon buys on Jett. What should you buy? Pistol round, if you win pistol round, if you lose pistol round, what should you buy? How should you manage your economy? So let's start with pistol round. Pistol round on defense is personal preference. I always like to go sheriff on defense, but you can go ghost if you want. If you're more comfortable using the ghost, or you want an updraft so that you're able to dash in for a retake, let's say, then go ghost. It's really up to you. I like to go sheriff and just hold long range angles. So on defense, I might hold this cat swing right here. But yeah, really personal preference. On attack side, I don't typically go sheriff because I need a cloudburst. So on attack side pistol round, typically I will go ghost and a cloudburst. If you want, you can go light armor on Jett, classic, and a cloudburst and an updraft if you really want. I never do that because I like taking very aggressive duels. So I like going ghost, increases your chances of winning those duels. So yeah, on attack, I go ghost cloudburst because I am dashing in for my team to make that space. Now let's talk about what do you buy after you've won pistol round. So after you've won pistol round, especially on defense, I always go outlaw. Scoped weapons on Jett are your friend. So martial, outlaw, operator, these guns are all your friend on Jett because you have a get out of jail free card, which is your dash. I always go outlaw. You can use your outlaw to get a couple picks, win the round on round 2, and then this outlaw flows beautifully into the third bonus round, because sometimes on bonus round, a lot of people don't buy full armor. You can abuse that. Even if they do buy full armor, the outlaw shoots relatively quick without any recoil in between shots. So the outlaw is just extremely strong. There's no reason not to buy an outlaw after you've won pistol round on Jett to scale it into the bonus round. On attack, it's a little bit different. You can buy an outlaw. It depends how you want to play the round, and it depends how your team is calling the round. If you guys are playing more slow default for picks, then by all means, you can buy an outlaw and you can go for picks before you move into a site. But typically on attack, I will go either for a bulldog or I'll go for a stinger / specter, up to you. Most of the time I will go bulldog if I have enough for full armor. If I don't have enough for full armor, let's say I didn't get any kills or we didn't plant the spike, but we won the round, I'll go stinger or specter. And so with these guns, you're basically just doing your thing and entrying just normally. And you're doing your thing with the Stinger Spectre or Bulldog. I just find that the Bulldog scales better into the bonus round. So if I'm able to afford it, I'll go Bulldog, and that increases our chances of winning the bonus round afterwards. Whereas with the Stinger Inspector, it's a little bit harder to convert that bonus round. Jett knives. Let's talk about Jett knives. If you have Jett knives, you want to use it. The only exception to this is if they have a KO ult and they're holding their KO ult specifically for your Jett knives, then that might be a little bit more difficult. Most of the time, if you have Jett knives, you want to use it, especially if it's on a low economy round where you can buy one of your teammates a gun and you can use Jett knives for yourself, that's one of the moments where you want to pop your Jett knives and drop a gun for your teammates. Jett knives are really good for supplementing your team's economy. If you're missing a gun, you can buy a gun for your teammate, pop knives for yourself, and you're pretty much good to go. Let's talk about pairing your abilities together with the Jett knives. So Jett knives are accurate no matter what. If you are fully running, completely accurate. If you're in the air, completely accurate. Your Jett knives will always go where you are aiming. If you're left clicking, obviously. If you're right clicking, it's going to be that spread, like I said. If you're left clicking, your Jett knives are accurate no matter if you're falling, updrafting, in the air, running, doesn't matter. Your Jett knives will be accurate. So I actually have a full video talking about how to use Jett ultimate properly. You can watch that video if you want a little more of an in-depth explanation. TLDR is you just want to make sure you're always in constant movement when you're using your Jett knives, okay? And the reason for that is because it just makes you a harder target to hit. If I'm running across somebody's screen, I'm extremely hard to hit, but I'm fully accurate. So yeah, Jett knives are really good for doing updraft kills. So if I updraft here and I'm gliding across, I'm completely accurate. So going for kills like this is very easy on Jett, just gliding around the map and dashing as well. Activating your dash updrafting. Jett knives are accurate completely. One tip I can give is that if you're struggling with hitting your Jett knives in the air, make sure you're gliding first of all. So if you're gliding down, let's say I'm updrafting and I'm midair, instead of trying to hit my Jett knives while I'm falling full speed like that, obviously that's extremely hard. So what I want to do is I actually want to glide while I'm using my knives, and this slows down my momentum, allows me to take my time to aim at the enemy. It allows me to take more time to aim at the enemy, and my chances of killing them are a lot higher. Another thing is, if you're updrafting midair, don't always go for headshots. You don't have to go for headshots. You can go for 3 body shots, right? And that's a kill. 3 body shots and you're good to go. And you get a knife refresh as well. Another thing is, don't waste your dash to dash updraft. Like, dash updrafting like this is very situational. I would only dash updraft like that if I know I'm taking a 1v1. But you don't want to be dash updrafting into like 2 people. So if you're dash updrafting here and you're killing the one and there's another guy here, it's very hard to convert the second kill, right? Like, they will probably trade you out. Whereas if you actually save your dash and instead you just updraft, kill this first guy, and now I still have my dash to reposition midair. So if another guy peeks me, right, I get this kill and his teammate peeks to trade me, I have my dash midair still to where I can dash, reposition, and then take a separate duel onto his teammate. So yeah, your dash is super important, so make sure that you're saving it. It's very situational. Oh yeah, let's move over to defense. We've talked about attack and how to entry properly on Jett. On defense, your job as a duelist, especially on Jett, is to take space for your team, fight aggressively, and get information for your team. So what does that mean? What that means, fighting for this A main space, you're either asking for a one-way here or some sort of utility to help you out, and you're going to be fighting these aggressive angles to take space for your team. Why? Because that allows your team to stack towards the other site. So for example, if I am fighting for this A main space right here, right? Immediately at the start of the round, I'm fighting for the same main space. And the reason I'm able to do this, by the way, is because I have a dash. I'm able to get out for free. Let's say I get pressured here, they start droning me. I can dash out and live for free, whereas other agents without an escape ability aren't able to do that. So as a Jett, you're able to take these aggressive off-angle duels and still get away safely because you have a free dash. So the reason why you want to fight aggressively for this information is because it allows your team to stack towards the other site. So let's say, for example, I'm fighting for this A main space and I get control of this deep line right here. I'm able to push up all the way and get space on the entire A lobby. This allows for my A player to rotate over to help mid or to help B. And now we have like 4 people towards mid B, and I'm the only one holding A. So that allows my team to stack towards the site where they're more likely to hit, because even if I see somebody deep A here, I can call somebody back and they have plenty of time to rotate because I've taken all of this space. Same concept applies for B site. This applies on every map. If you're on defense, you want to be fighting these aggressive angles and you want to be getting as much space and as much information as possible. Like on B, if I'm able to get up onto this point right here, or even something deeper, like if I'm able to get up onto these deep angles, that is so good for my team. And obviously, opping on Jett is extremely strong, especially in ranked. In ranked, especially in lower elo, people do not know how to counter the op. And that's why like people are so annoyed with oppers in ranked in lower elo, because they just don't know how to counter it. If you buy an op and you're good at opping, you can win games for your team single-handedly just by opping. And same concept applies for the op. You want to take these aggressive angles. I have an entire op guide that you can check out, by the way, where I go over how to op effectively in depth. But as an opper, you want to keep it moving round after round. Like, you don't want to play the same site every single round if you're an opper. Like, I'm not going to be opping cat every round if I'm opping. Like, one round I might op cat, get a kill, and then next round I might op B main, right? You want to switch it up. And another thing is, if you get spotted opping, so like let's say I'm opping A main, I get a kill here. What I want to do is immediately run my op to the other site, unless obviously give it a couple seconds to see if they're actually still committing into the site. Most of the time though, if you're opping somebody on one side of the map, what are they going to do? They're going to call for a rotate to the other side. So they're going to go, yo, their Jett's opping A, let's go B. They're going to run B, but if you immediately, after getting this kill, run to the other site, run B, you're going to beat them there. You're going to beat them to B main. And if you're able to get here and they're rotating into you, you get another kill and they're like, what the hell? Is this guy stream sniping? You know? So I go over all of that in my op guide if you want to watch that. But yeah, that is basically the main idea of playing Jett on defense, is you want to get space for your team because information is extremely powerful. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. I mean, with your dash, you want to make sure you're using your dash at the right times. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, you don't want to waste your dash. Why? Because there's a timer on your dash. When you pop your dash, like I said, there's a certain amount of time where you get to use it. So only pop your dash when you know you're about to take an engagement. It's very similar to ISO Shield, where you only want to pop your dash when you know you're about to go in. If you're attacking, you want to pop your dash when you know you're about to execute. Then you want to pop your dash so it's not wasted. Don't pop your dash if your team is just defaulting, right? Because you don't know if you're going in or not. You can pop your dash if you know you're about to take an engagement. For example, I jump spot here and I see that there's a guy holding from right side heaven, let's say. I can pop my dash then to take this duel and make sure I'm able to get out safely if I wanted to. So that's a situation where it might be okay to pop your dash. On defense, it's a lot harder to time your dash. That's one thing I've noticed, especially with lower elo players playing Jett. They have a hard time figuring out when to pop their dash on defense. Off round start, like a lot of people like to peek this cat angle, and they will pop their dash before they peek this cat angle. And most of the time, that's actually a waste of your dash, because it's not guaranteed anyone's going to be fighting you from tiles. So what a lot of high elo Jett players do, this is something that Aspas actually does a lot, is you'll see him take these angles dry without any util, so that he's not popping his dash, he's peeking cat off rip, like this for example, and then he's going to just hold like this, and he's only popping dash when he really has to. So he'll take duels here, and then he'll fall back to this angle, he'll take another duel, and then if some... Oh, I just fucking died. Alright. If somebody's running up on him cat, let's say for example, then he'll pop his dash. He'll save his dash for when he knows he needs it. So he'll end up falling back to this corner, and then let's say there's people running up cat on him. They're throwing util on him, decays, mollies, whatever. Then he'll still have his dash to get out into safety. A lot of players that wasted their dash here and didn't get a kill, and then they no longer have a dash, they'll fall back to this corner, be stuck here, and then they're just dead. They have no escape whatsoever. They just have to fight until the death. And that's the difference between knowing when to pop your dash and not knowing when to pop your dash. Alright guys, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's any other things to talk about really. There's some concepts in here that I go way more in depth on in some dedicated videos, like that opping guide I talked about. And also I just have map specific Jett guides that you can look at as well. But this was just like a basic idea of how to play Jett in general, not really map specific. But that's pretty much it guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.